there's a big difference in working hard and working smart. Just because you're going to the gym and working up a sweat, feeling the burn, it doesn't actually mean that your workouts are optimal. You might be working hard and you might be working up a sweat, but it's not really gonna give you much bang for your buck. So a lot of people will say to me, oh, I love working out. My workouts are fine. My biggest struggle is nutrition. But then their workouts are actually not that good either. But just because it doesn't feel like it's bad for workouts, it's pretty easy to not know that you're working out incorrectly. And especially in the day and age of fit chick science. Hey guys, Laura here. This is another video in my Knockout Body Formula series. We're gonna talk about fit chick science today. So what is fit chick science? You might be asking. Fit chick science is basically the girl version of bro science. It's workouts that aren't necessarily the most beneficial. They're not always going to give you the most bang for your buck. It's information that doesn't really have much evidence behind it. It's not the most helpful, could even be harmful at times, and it's just, it makes you waste your time. That's what it does. It makes you waste your time, because I've been there. And as Instagram has gotten more and more popular, and fitness Instagram is just a huge thing, obviously, fit chick, it's like literally a breeding ground for fit chick science. And that's because like the good effective exercises, it's not fun to post. I mean, it is fun, but it doesn't look as exciting. Like, think about it. If somebody's always posting like a different variation of weird kickbacks and weird booty exercises every day, it's probably more exciting and it's gonna get more likes and views than someone who's just like, here's my compound movements. But the thing is, the compound movements are going to give you the best results by far. So that's what people need to know. Because my problem, like, I fell into the fit chick science trap a few years ago. So I had started lifting and I was off to a good start. I was working on my squats, working on my deadlifts, like I was trying to be strong. And then at a certain point, I started following the wrong people and I was like, oh my gosh, my quads are bulky and big and I am gonna stop doing compound movements and only train glutes. And that's what I did. And it set me back. Like, I didn't see that great results. Actually, I ended up with some muscular imbalances, so I had some like little minor injuries, like nothing terrible, but when you neglect muscle groups, that's what happens, and it's just not good. So there's aspects of it that you can take. Isolation movements do belong in a program, but not in the whole thing. So let's just back up and explain what that is, because in my previous video, I said I would tell you guys in this video what a compound movement and isolation movement is. So a compound movement is a multi-joint movement. So it's going to work multiple muscle groups, and these are hard movements. They're going to burn more calories, they're more taxing, they're harder. So these are things like squats and deadlift and bench. Those are like the three main. And then it also includes things like lunges, lat pull downs, rows, overhead press, pull-ups, things like that. So they're hard movements. Like, you can't, they're just hard. And then isolation movements are things like, say, a bicep curl, a lateral raise, like a rope pull down for your triceps, a kickback, a leg curl, leg extension, that kind of stuff. And as I said, those definitely, they do have their place in a program, but they shouldn't be the main component of your program, because they're not going to give you as much bang for your buck. And that's what I fell into. When I started doing heavy compound movements, I was able to lose weight on more calories than when I wasn't doing them. And it was really interesting too, because my waist actually ended up looking smaller, I guess because I was able to get leaner easier doing these more effective movements. So it was just a win-win situation across the board. So that's one part of fit chick science that's the issue. The other issue is that it doesn't encourage any consistency in your routine. And aside from nutrition, progressive overload is the key factor in seeing results. So what is progressive overload? Progressive overload, I'm gonna go for a walk. Progressive overload is basically the simplest way to break down progressive overload is that it's just the increase of activity over time. So your body doesn't want to change unless it's forced to. Its primary goal is to keep you alive. So it adapts to things very, very quickly. So because of that, you always need to be focusing on putting more demand on your body than you previously were. Now, there's no way to correctly track this if you're always switching things up and doing fit chick science. So if one day you're doing a kickback and then the next day you're doing a kickback, backflip, lunge, cartwheel thing, you can't track if that's an accurate increase. And now don't get me wrong, like kickbacks and some of those things, they definitely have their place. I like them, but like I said, they shouldn't be the majority. So when you progressively overload, one way to do it is just increasing weight. And if you're new to lifting, this is what you'll be able to do pretty easily, because people who are new, they gain strength fast, and that's pretty awesome. It's fun, it's motivating, but that's not the only way to progressively overload. You can also, I'm gonna fall. You can add reps. You can even form improvements. Like say if somebody has never been very active in their life and they can't squat to parallel, getting a full range of motion in a squat would absolutely count as progressive overload. So, I don't know where I am. Literally, it's a reason that you see a lot of people in the gym and they've been working out for a while and they're consistent and they might be working hard, but they just don't look any different. And it's because of the lack of progressive overload. Somebody walking by. It's because of the lack of progressive, that was so awkward. It was because of the lack of progressive overload. Literally, that's it. People don't realize the key. Like for such a key principle for seeing results, not enough people realize. And yeah, it's vital. It's absolutely essential for results. So, because there's a big difference in working hard and working smart. And I used to fall into the category of working hard but not working smart. Now I work hard and smart. And that's obviously the most effective way to do things. Like just because you're going into the gym and working up a sweat, feeling the burn, it doesn't actually mean that your workouts are optimal. Because like again, you could be just doing kickback or like just variations, booty band, things like that, and you might be working hard and you might be working up a sweat, but it's just not the most optimal. It's not really gonna give you much bang for your buck. So yeah, that's such an important thing, because a lot of people will say to me, I love working out, my workouts are fine, my biggest struggle is nutrition, but then their workouts are actually not that good either. But just because it doesn't feel like it's bad, if you feel like you're working hard, you won't say, I have a struggle with my workouts. But like nutrition, it's pretty obvious when you struggle, like you know. But for workouts, it's pretty easy to not know that you're working out incorrectly. And especially in the day and age of fit chick science, it makes it really freaking hard for people to know if they're working out correctly, because they see these people and they're posting dumb exercises and they're like, they look good, that's how they got their results. And it's not. They probably did compound movements and they're just posting that because there's no freaking way. So yeah, you always have to be making sure you're progressing and adding volume, and volume is the amount of sets and reps and weight you're doing. It's just, you just can't track that if you're doing fit chick science. You can't, because first of all, there's only so heavy you can do for like a kickback or something, or like jump squats, whatever people do, I don't know. And then the thing is, I'm kind of like branching off into a different topic here, kind of, but some of these variations are not safe. Over the long term, some of these could give you injuries. I guess what I want you guys to understand is you gotta have some rhyme or reason to your training. You can't just be going in the gym and trying different things. You don't want to just see an exercise on Instagram and say, I'm going to try that one today, and then tomorrow I'm going to try that one, and tomorrow I'm going to try that one. Like, you want to stick to things for at least 4 weeks before changing things up. Otherwise, like, you're not overloading. If you're a beginner and you're just all over the place with your training, initially, you'll see some progress, but at a certain point, that progress is gonna stop and you're gonna say, oh, I hit a plateau. I have to keep changing things up, and it's not gonna help you. Typically, what I suggest is doing about 80% of your time in the gym a compound movement, right, with compound movements, and then the rest of your time can be like isolation movements. It just wastes your time. That is the problem with FITCHICKSCIENCE. You need to make sure you're doing mostly compound movements. And the thing is, I always say there's no such thing as a quick fix, but the closest thing to a quick fix is actually compound movement. Like I said, when I started focusing more on compound movements, I saw quicker results than ever before, and I wasn't even trying to see quick results. People will worry about bulking up if they do compound movements. That was my concern, and it doesn't do that. Unless you're eating in a big surplus, it's not going to do that. So guys, please do not fall victim to FITCHICKSCIENCE. It's harmful. It's harmful. I guess that's all I have to say. The more muscle mass you have, the more you burn. It's just more efficient. So that is all. That is all. Say no to FITCHICKSCIENCE. If you would like more information on the topic, not just FITCHICKSCIENCE, but I have a free report, and it is called Knockout Body Formula: How to Avoid the 3 Common Fat Loss Mistakes. And it covers things like FITCHICKSCIENCE. These are all mistakes I made. Like, that's the thing. These topics, I speak about them so passionately because I went through it and I suffered because of it. So now I'm just like screaming from the rooftops, like, please don't do what I did, please. Yeah. Free report, Knockout Body Formula: How to Avoid the 3 Common Fat Loss Mistakes. It is a 39-page report, and I have an audiobook version of it too. So if you're a busy bee and you want to listen to it while you like work out or drive or cook or clean the house, I got your bases covered. So I'm really excited. So click the link in my description box below, and Knockout Body Formula will be sent to you, and you're gonna love it. And that is it.